Hello, I'm Brent. It's nice to see y'all. It's been a while since we did Progenitors Bloodline. Welcome to the Hexagon TTRPG. We're thrilled to have you join us, and today we're going to be playing with a few friends. Unfortunately, CJ, also known as Otto in this campaign, will not be joining us, so I'm going to be taking over that character. But in the meantime, we have our lovely players.
We do. I think Otto normally goes first.
I think I go first.
Oh, you.
Simon goes first.
Yeah.
Then Otto.
Okay.
I'm getting used to it.
I'm getting the
No, I'm
sweats
Simon.
already.
No, I'm Simon. I'm playing
Up on
Will.
the screen so you guys can see the order.
And Wiln is, we spoke about Wiln like enjoying his newspapers, but Wiln also has a certain penchant, if you will, for high fantasy adventure novels.
I need to be taking notes. Any tropes or genres in there?
Oh, high fantasy adventure is like this the overarching theme, genre, and then he kind of delves from there. Something he likes large settings, things that have a bit of politics, a bit of intrigue.
Does he have any favorite authors?
No romantasy is what I'm getting at.
Not for the moment. He's yet to find any romantic setting that he's very much been enthralled with.
Very interesting. All right, just adding a novelist to your population that of people for you to find.
Yeah, it must. I don't know. If you didn't bring any books with you, that's going to be a little bit depressing.
He's gonna have to find something.
That's why he always asked for newspapers. He just needed something to read. Anything. Makes sense.
Like keeping informed.
All right, Brent. Are you giving the special fact about Otto?
Ooh, special fact about Otto. He usually introduce himself now. I think a special fact about Otto is probably that he comes off as shy, and doesn't even realize it. I think that's really what it would like. He would come off as a little bit quiet, and people would be like, "Oh, like he's, like he's just like a quiet," but he's like intensely staring at people, analyzing them, and they don't even know.
Yeah.
And I think that's straight from CJ almost. I didn't have to make that one up.
Yeah, that definitely comes through. Well, I mean, I'm playing as Tomas. I'm Peter. I'm going to introduce myself. A fact about Tomas, since in his enclosure at the facility, he didn't really do much other than kind of like swing around on branches and hunt monsters whenever they would deliver them to him. And for a lot of it, he would kind of just like, I don't know, just be in the space, be in the foliage and sort of like the fake jungle that they built for him. And I think before his little face kind of protruded from his forehead, he still had those emotional resonances with other people. He just didn't really understand what was happening. And they weren't, I guess, as targeted, maybe a little bit more infrequent. But he would have these resonances with the people of the facility, like the workers and the scientists and researchers and stuff. And in particular, because other than maybe sometimes like some squabbles in the office or like people are getting upset at each other, and then he would kind of get riled up and maybe like, I don't know, punch some trees or something. There would be office romances, and incapable of understanding that emotion, he would just kind of go up to the glass hoping to find where that emotion is coming from, and then banging his head on the window and calling out, "I love you!" And oftentimes it would result in very awkward interactions with the researchers because they'd be side by side during that time or something, and he would be yelling directly at them.
I have a question on that.
Everyone's like, I have to talk about this.
No, but like, because he feeds off emotion, right? So like, would he be picking up on these feelings before they might have been expressed?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like even before, like the people are feeling these things, but they haven't necessarily brought them up to one another, or it's just kind of like the budding blossoms of
in the air,
of feelings in the air. Yeah, so he's kind of like cutting in and just like ruining the moment for them. Yeah. So
I mean, was it fully? You want to roll me a d20?
okay. What am I rolling for here? That's a natural 20.
It worked for at least one of those couples.
Yo,
They did that, and then they were like, "Oh my gosh," and then looked at each other, and then he was just like, "Actually, I want to take you out." She said yes.
Yeah, it's just they like, oh, me too. I've been thinking about it all this time. In the background,
You saw that happen in front of you, and then you saw them kind of like just touch hands for a moment, and like just have a moment of tenderness before basically walking away. Would that have affected Tomas?
It would definitely stick with him. Yeah. He won't forget that. That's for sure.
Oh goodness, you gain a memory of love.
Amazing.
All right, that leads us to Diana.
It's me. Okay, so I'm Diana. I'm playing Quinn. And for those who might not know, because normally we say Quinn T, but T stands for something. T stands for Tinny. Quinn Tinny. Yeah, Tinny is her family name. But as for a fun fact, besides that, is she spent when she used to be on the space shuttle as a little youngster. The one thing she used to spend most of her time doing was watching lots of disco roller skating videos, specifically, and that may be the reason why now she ended up with roller skates herself for more mobility. Just lots of disco. All disco. It's even her favorite music now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it's not just the skating part; it's the music part too.
Oh, it was the whole atmosphere, the idea of it, like going out and just skating around, doing cool moves with friends or lovers. Ooh.
Would Quinn have watched like roller derby type stuff?
Oh, for sure. 100%. Just anything that had to be like cool tricks with roller skates or, anything on that scale, she most likely spammed it and tried it herself and sometimes failed, but that's how she got more dexterous. So it all took practice to get where she is today.
Incredible. I was originally imagining your people as like all having roller skates, and now I think it's even funnier if none of them do. It's just you found this and you were like, "Whoa, wheels on feet? That's crazy!"
Yeah, literally. Other people probably don't find the attraction to it. I mean, on dirt and stuff, kind of inconvenient, not the best place to skate. But on a space shuttle that had pretty smooth floors, it was pretty great. It's pretty great.
Does she like subconsciously sometimes like without realizing just start like grooving on her rollerblades? Like people might like look away and look back and she's just kind of like grooving some like unknown music in her head.
Yeah, the song in her own head for sure. She's probably sad that disco's no longer really like here anymore. It's gone for now. It has to be brought back.
I was about to. You're right that disco is gone right now in the world. But you do. I would say you have recordings. Like you probably have some music taped or saved on your
e-pad.
Yeah, on your e-pad basically. You could have. You could
and
have
some be
all...
my entrance music.
Oh my god. My goodness. Well, on that note, if you're new, make sure you say hi in chat. Hit that follow button. Stay in the loop. You know where to find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. It's at the Hexagon TTRPG. So let's get started now with these new bits of knowledge about all our wonderful characters. Last time we left off, I can almost smell it. There was this the smell of roasting chicken in the air. The Maillard reaction as the skin bubbles and crisp brown, roasting over a fire. You see several members of the different kind of the clans, the five clans, 4 clans. You guys are 4 people, 4 clans.
Yeah.
Kind of working together. You see that some of Willen's people are like just discovering like how to make sparks, and they're kind of like helping gather up some foliage, and they made the fire, and now they're roasting this big chicken. And they start out and they're feeding some kids that are kind of like running around a little bit, and everyone's generally getting along right now. That being said, I just need to remember Kalen Zuren, the first of the people. So this is Tomas's, one of Tomas's people, the first one that you met with, the kind of like dark, almost like obsidian skin, granite-like, and he has the repeating patterns on certain parts of his body. Comes back up to all of you and he says, "We are happy for now. Everyone is good, but night will fall and we are exposed. We are out in the open. And it seems that we are not all possessing all our memories." And he kind of leads your gaze, I would say, as you kind of, you all share that look for a moment of like, what? And you see that there are some people, quite a few people actually, now that you're really looking at the fringes, sitting down, people are tending to them, kind of like bringing like water, food to them, and they just seem like foggy or like sleepy, maybe, in a sense. And you can tell that they're being taken care of. So he comes back to you, or looks back to you and says, "We probably need some help, some direction." And when he looks at you, Tomas, "I can feel a clear bond to you, as can the others to the other ones of you."
Yes, I feel it as well.
He nods slowly. "I don't know what this is." And he stands like kind of tall, and "I used to work as a," he kind of like squints, furrows his brow, "project manager. I led teams, but it's all gibberish now. Data, products, sales. This is meaningless in this situation."
I don't quite understand. You were not who you are now.
All of us have changed. Even some people were repaired. And he kind of like points someone out in the crowd, and you can see that just like everyone else, like wearing kind of like what looks like what would have been normal clothing for someone in the city, although it looks a little bit kind of like everything's kind of getting a little bit dirtier, out of place out here. And people were like lying in the grass and stuff, but you see that one of her arms is just kind of like a bit of a different color from the rest of her body. It has like some streaks of like almost like stripes on it. And he says, "That woman, she was missing an arm and it is here now. It seems that there has been some sort of a transformation where everyone has healed and become the best expression of who they could be.
Is it like that only for you and the others, or and kind of look at the other groups of people that are kind of the other tribes, and or for them as well?
It seems this was some sort of magic that would never let us sleep here. But yes, I feel stronger, more able.
A moment, please.
Rubs his eyes. You see a little blurry to him.
Everyone is a little bit sleepy, it seems.
Yeah.
But
And I would say it's getting on to like midday now. You guys have been here. You kind of had woken up and seen everyone, and then there was the kerfuffle. So you went to, go see what that was. You brought the basilisk back, and now it's cooked for a bit, and it's roasted, and it's basically shawarma now. As they're like carving off pieces of it and handing it out. It's like one of Otto's people, like their hand kind of like transforms into like an insectoid like blade hand. They're like slicing the shawarma.
okay, I thought it was like holding the whole thing on his arm. Being out in the open is not exactly for the best, I suppose. Danger!
I want to talk, but I don't understand what's happening upstairs.
This is a dragon.
Is that the? Yeah, it's the monster.
There's a horde of monsters on the way. We need to escape.
More food.
Speaking of which, I think I'll open up. I had a couple of pictures that were pending. So from the cliffside, you got a pretty good look of where you were. You're on an island, and it's fairly big, but you can up on that cliff, you could see water on all sides. So there's not a ton of place here. There is the forest. There's like a small dense forest that provides cover. So the north side is more like dunes and like grassy knolls kind of thing. So it's like more beachy, and it seems like the tide can sometimes come like really like all the way like very in, depending on what's going on. And so it's more like the southwest that has like that forested area. And then more to the east, you have like kind of like the canyon and plains, and it's like more like grassy, like a meadows and stuff, just like small copses of trees. So right now you guys are like, I would say like smack dab in the middle. There's like a sandy duney bit, and then there's like, you're like in this canyon. It's kind of like sheltered here.
Okay.
But there's no top shelter.
Okay, before it keeps going, if we can use the trees and some giant leaves or something as a tarp, maybe we can make makeshifts like shelters, at least temporarily.
Kaylin nods. Yes, that could be good. Temporary shelters. I can get started on that.
I think we're gonna need more than just you working on them. We're gonna need plenty of them for the people around.
Let's send word around. If there's anyone who might have, as you said, you had experience as a project manager. Maybe other people have experience as carpenters or builders.
And his eyes like light up. Oh, I should find one of each of the people who can help me gather others.
Where was the dude that like one of my people who was kind of like lagging behind and I guess delaying the basilisk last time.
Yeah, and he had just kind of like thrown out that flame wall all of
Yeah.
a sudden, right? You can definitely go find him.
Like if
Or
I
you
can
can
see him,
describe.
I want to point him out.
Absolutely. So you kind of point him out. He had like curly reddish hair, and you I think easily point him out in the crowd because his sleeves got burned away when he first cast that fire. So he's like the only person with like burned clothing, a little bit, and you're able to point Kaelin in that direction. So he looks at you. Perfect. I will go get him. Sorry, I've also seen that you've mentioned that the map looks like Super Mario.
Yeah.
But it looks like a zombie Super Mario to me.
Yeah, like
this
missing a bit of his head, but like it's just
This is an eye.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
Oh my
you're
god, I see
right.
it.
Yeah, he's like kicking his foot out.
Yeah.
it's his jumping like animation.
That's so funny.
Incredible. Okay.
But
I will help you. Colleen.
Kaelin.
Caitlin, yes.
Kaelin.
But first I must eat. I'll rush over to the chicken.
I
Yeah.
would like to try and get some scouting parties together and see if we can discover some sort of source of water somewhere.
Are you saying this? Who are you saying this to?
If Kaelin hasn't
possibly
left
brought it
yet, I'm
up.
just kind of explaining this to like everybody in like the immediate like we're talking to like Quinn and to Tomas, and like I guess if Kaelin's also like here trying to like spearhead things, you feel like, hey, this is where I think like my head's going. So I'm gonna go.
I'll say you say that, and he turns back to you, and I think that's where you kind of realize that as Tomas walked away, almost like a sunflower, Kaelin was like following, like his body language is following Tomas. So you keep talking, and he kind of like almost like startles out of it, turns to you, and then keeps listening to what you're saying, and he goes, "Yes, that's a good idea."
So as people are like going to get like some of the food, I'm gonna kind of go and kind of like ask, like, has anyone seen water or like on your way here? Because like, I know like some people came from the forest. Had you seen any bodies of water on your way? Just kind of getting some word around. If not, I'll look for people who've eaten already and ask if they are willing to go around.
Yeah. So most people just point, and if you remember last time I had described it, like there's like a small stream of like water that was like passing through this like meadowed area, and people have been going to the stream and getting water from it. But it's not a lot of water, and it's not a body of water. It's like a thin stream. So most people just, oh no, we don't know. Kaelin kind of like is coming with you, and just like, I think you're saying this like talking to people, and he's like, has anyone seen water? And like shouting out.
Completely
He's like,
fine.
I got your back, Will.
Well, if no one's kind of letting like us know, like, oh yeah, like here, I guess I'll look for again people who finished eating and ask, would you be willing to come just to scout upstream a little bit and see if we can secure a bit more water for everyone?
Sorry,
So I don't know who might be already finished eating, but
yeah, there's multiple different people. I think. How many people do you want to gather? Are you looking for anyone in particular?
I think like again, I think it is a good idea to kind of get at least one from every tribe to kind of get that idea of like collaboration going. So I guess I'll take maybe essentially like uh, two people from every tribe for now,
All right.
and kind of okay, like I'm gonna go upstream here, and we'll take two parties and like kind of like split off a little bit to see if we can scout the area a bit.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, like my whole thing just closed down on me. Okay. like
Alright.
froze completely. I wanted to say I wanted to go help with that because my thing said I can scan around 200 feet area for specific things. So in this case, I could search for more bodies of water that maybe could be useful
Cool.
for us.
All
So I
right.
wouldn't mind
So,
coming along.
all right. That's good. While my team follows the stream towards its source, would you be able to find potentially if there's something another one close by?
Yeah, I can. I think if I go far enough and I'm in the center of it, I can have best chances because it's only 200 feet and I can only do it once a day.
Oh,
So I'll go really far away in order to do a big scan.
so take and I kind of like split off
Mm.
one group of everyone to go with Quinn.
All right, guys. While you're with me, you better tell me your names and your occupations on our way. On our
Love
way there.
it.
I gotta be
Absolutely.
efficient, okay?
Right. So you break into a couple groups. Will going to find the source of the stream. Quinn going maybe the other way, kind of just surveying the landscape a little bit. And I'm going to say at this point, you start to get an idea of like how big this island is. And so even though you could see water, see the kind of like little different like landscape features from up on that big kind of cliff that you like ran down. Um, I think to put it in terms where you all here would understand, like this is basically the size of like Japan if you cut Japan in half and put them together. So like it's the
Okay.
size of a small country in a sense. It is quite large. There's no way you can cover the entire thing without using some sort of like power or like to get somewhere. So the amount of like actual like volume that you're covering is fairly short. So the forest, the beginning of the forest is not too far from you. And Diana, your team quickly follows the stream as it goes and it flows into this forest place,
Hmm.
right? And so like I think as you follow it along and you're kind of like scanning and going around, you'll probably notice right away with the d-pad, because it lets you scan the 200 feet, that you're like noticing like bits of like water deposits in the ground and stuff, and like potential for like maybe wells or something like that,
Yeah.
certain places that you would be able to dig. And I think you immediately notice that the forest is like very dense and full of life. Like you hear like monster calls basically in there. You hear like a like another basilisk
More
basically like in the
chickens.
forest. There's more chicken in there. Um, and then
Mhm.
Wilm going the other way, I think eventually you would come to basically like it's more rocky and canyony than like valley-y. And this is the place where there's like a spring coming out of the rock and like the water has started. So it's basically an underground spring with fresh water coming out.
Okay. How far away is that? Like, how far have
Prob-
you traveled?
yeah, I would say you go for maybe an hour. Um, so it takes to like just into the afternoon is like when I think you see it and then you can go up to it, and this is where the water is coming from.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of drink a tiny bit of it just to test it, and then kind of like wait for a little bit and see if like there's any adverse reaction.
It is cool and refreshing, and there is the tiniest hint of magic.
Okay. Well, right now I don't think anyone has anything like as a attack as like a water skin. So in that case, I guess we'll have this marked out. Be like, I'll look to everyone and be like, remember this area. It'll be good to come back here and fill any sort of water skins we might be able to acquire.
One of the kind of like of Otto's people is just, we would have to skin animals, or
I,
perhaps we could find containers if we looked.
I was thinking maybe I mean, I don't know if they would exactly work, but getting the stomachs of the basilisks that we eat and using those for now, some sort of lining that keeps water. But
You see, one of the like more normal, just like looks like a regular person, basically. Don't you have to do something to? Don't you have to like process those animals?
I don't have enough knowledge to tell you for sure if that's the truth or not. We would need to look into to see if anyone has that knowledge around. There's a lot of people that are still waking up and eating. We can see who has the necessary knowledge.
You should maybe like go over and drink some water. Yeah, the water tastes better here, right?
There's definitely a bit more of a kick to it, let's say. So there's something that's been added to the added to the water, but it's not artificial. It's natural. 'Cause I don't know if I could like confidently say like, yeah, this is magic that's in the water. It's just something that like tastes kind of a bit more potent, I suppose.
There's something to it.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll me an intelligence check? It's going to be a difficulty. Boy, I haven't looked at the difficulties in a bit. We'll call this a difficulty 2.
Okay. So that's 6 or higher. A 9.
Perfect. Oh, you have, if you focus, it makes it easier for you, right?
Yes, I do.
I think in this case you would have like it's kind of like you take a moment to look around basically, and as you drink in the scenery, as you drink in the actual water, reducing the difficulty down to 3 is going to mean that you beat it by more than 5. And basically, I think what Will understands is that the area outside, all of the land that you've walked since you got outside of this starting valley, seems a little bit more magical.
Okay.
And I think that that means something to you. That's a pattern, right? Why is it that the place where everyone started, that kind of like protective zone, is almost like basically magic free in a sense? Like the people are the magic bit, and then outside of that, everything seems to have a little bit of magic on it.
Okay.
Not enough to like, oh my god, the stick's gonna explode, but like enough that for you it makes a difference.
Okay, and do we are we aware of like if this is magic kind of thing, or is it just a feeling of some sort of like charge, some sort of kind of um energy welling up?
I think I'll pose that question to you. Does Wilm feel like this is magic, like what he does is magic, or is this more of like you feeling in tune with an energy that is permeating everything? Like, what would you call that?
It depends on how I guess magic was viewed before the experiments and everything. Magic was in the world, like it was something that was like being experimented on, like tested, right? Like people knew, like they had these like powers that they were using. They were attempting to kind of uh, splice DNA using it. I'm assuming.
Yes, and I don't think you would have been exposed so much to what exactly the lab was doing with that bit, not in the way that Otto was, but because you were allowed to walk around, like I think you for sure would have experienced mages. You would have experienced people like, oh, let me get that for you, and then light a cigarette, with like a little finger flame, and like you've seen people cast magic, but your abilities maybe don't match up one for one with that, in a sense.
Okay, so I'd be able to recognize magic per se, but maybe what I do, I wouldn't classify as magic per se, but more like something a bit more like innate energies. Okay.
Yeah, or a different kind of power.
I feel like that might be what he's going with for now. Is kind of like this is an external thing that can be used, like potentially not exactly in tune with what he has inside, but can be used in a similar manner. This is an energy that can be uh, used to create and to alter kind of reality in a sense.
Yeah, I think in this moment I would liken it to for the people you brought with you in the scouting party. They're like they comment on the beauty and like, oh, the water tastes really good. For you, it's like you breathe in, and I don't know if anyone has ever kind of experienced this where if you're in a place that has like a higher concentration of oxygen, it's almost like you can think better.
Like a rush, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit of a heightening of the senses, a little bit of like like I'm, you know, not altered in any way in a sense, but I feel like I have the capacity to do my best.
Kind of more energized and more aware, and yeah, your senses are like dialed up to like 11.
It's what we wish coffee did for us, but instead it just makes us aggressively tired.
Okay, cool. I'll note it. Be like this. The energies here are good, strong. It would be good to find other areas like this. I think we can benefit from it. But let's head back and see if we can find a way to store this water.
All right, Captain. And this is Otto's person, and I think they kind of they'll walk with you back a little bit and start chatting with you, and basically they're gonna ask like, so are you and the sorry, Quinn, are you blue? You were blue skinned, right?
Yes, it's pink hair.
It's like
Well, it's like a blue purple, but still.
blue purple. Are you in the like the bluish lady and the gray guy like leaders? Are you who's in charge? What's going on a little bit? Because I think and the scouting party is like a little bit behind you guys. And I think if you like you kind of turn your head a little, they're all listening in really intently. And they're like, no one's formalized anything, and I think it might need to be formalized. You know what I mean?
I can understand that, and yes, I do believe you are correct. There needs to be some sort of structure that is established. But to be honest with you, I'm not too sure what is happening. I remember being someplace one moment and then waking up here the next with you all around us. Um, for the moment, my immediate concern was assuring that we have the requisite resources to be able to survive. There's a lot of us, and we need to make sure that everyone is able to, well, have a source of hydration and nutrition. But yes, structure would be good to set up as well.
Yeah. Well, it's like we feel this kind of it's like a reverence for, we've been talking and like, and she feels it for you, but I feel it for the dark-eyed man who's part of your kind of group who are up on the cliffside.
Otto.
Yeah, Otto. See, I don't even know what's your name?
That's fair. I'm gonna kind of include the others, I guess, in this as I kind of like turn my head as well, like over my shoulder. Like, I'm Will. Pleasure to meet you all, and I hope you'll help us in just ensuring that everything goes well.
Yeah, I mean we'll try. Tanya, and then the guy next to you is just I'm Ben, William, Theodore, Adrian.
We're gonna need to make out a list of names because there's a lot of people.
I'm on
I'm just right here. I got so
it.
many names.
Beautiful.
I have to have
What
so
the
many
heck?
names ready. There's 2,000 people here.
Yeah, 500 each.
So Dana, don't list all the names. I'll tell you who's important.
I am not. I am not.
And who did I say? Ben, William, Theodore, Adrian, and Tanya are not that important right now. Maybe they will be. So you start to head back, and in parallel to this, so Quinn, you're going to this forest. I think we're going to engage with that in a second. I just want to know what Tomas is doing. Tomas, you see Otto gather a few of his people, and it looks like he picks the ones that have noticeable, stronger traits. And basically, it's like he's gone to, and so the guy who was like doing the shawarma with the scythe hand, he grabs him. He grabs another one that seems to basically have like two like black dots at his temples that are a little bit shiny, and basically it's almost like he has like a second set of eyes. He goes and grabs another one that has like what appears to be little like claws at the ends of his fingers, and it's like basically like they have more expressed traits of that spidery form that you had seen him, and he kind of talks with them and then catches your eye and gives you just like a smile and a wave, and then like walks away with this group chatting, and you can see that they start to kind of like dart off, and one of them then begins to climb like the walls of the canyon, and they start to build a bit of a web just to make like a shelter over like a certain like beginning area of the canyon where the walls are a little bit closer. So there's at least like one spot that has like a little bit of shelter right here.
Okay.
Where does their webbing come from?
You see the one that is doing the webbing is the clawed one, and basically almost like is coaxing it like out of like they look like they're grabbing something, and as they weave it through their hands, it becomes thread and becomes real. And it's they're weaving something together to do this.
Right.
Sick. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I mean, Tomas is used to exchanging with Otto just glances usually. Like we don't speak very much. So when we lock eyes as I'm eating, I just kind of give him a nod, and he goes off and does his thing. And then when I finish, I'm gonna quickly look around, see if I can find the drill dog anywhere. if he's right by me.
The moment you look for the drill dog, you hear a roof.
Oh, boy, I need you to stay here.
You turn and there's nothing there.
Oh, I'm like just like leaning down, like I'll like stand up, and then I'll still speak out to it.
What do you say?
I need you to stay here. Protect these people. I will be gone for a bit.
And you feel something shift within you. And the dog jumps out of your chest. You feel like this, like just this warm magic. And you feel your heartbeat in two places. And the dog
Oh my gosh.
jumps out, and his skin, his fur has taken on a little bit of your hue. You see that as the drill face undoes, and he's got the two eyes on the inside and the like double tongue hanging out. He's got similar to your like plate on his head. He now has like a little like drill horn,
Yeah.
very drill coming out of like the top of his head.
Mm-hmm.
And he just like sits and looks at you. And you can tell, like, as you talk to him now, there's much more of like a connection in terms. So you say this to him like Sensto, and it's almost like I'm gonna say that he kind of speaks in emojis, like it's like feelings.
Okay.
He basically gives you the salute emoji.
Nice. I essentially do it back, but I just kind of like sort of nod in his direction, and I've got this little goofy smile on my face, like.
So it lies down, and then cocks head, and you get the like hourglass emoji question mark.
How long?
Until I return. If I do not return, find Will or Otto or Quinn. They will become your new master.
You get chicken question mark.
Oh, of course, please. Eat. Eat, boy. Go.
It goes
And leave some for the others.
Yeah, I think it, like first thing like grabs a chunk of chicken with like one drill tentacle, and then like is also sniffing on the ground, and like it starts eating up a bunch of the bones and stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it's a natural trash disposal. Yeah, and so I'll go find Kalen. I mean, I imagine he's not too far.
You find Kalen. Basically, it's like you. The reason you had to find him is that he's lying down on the ground, arm wrestling another of the people of your like stone skin people. And basically, you see like two other people of your people on the side just like rubbing their arms like they're sore. And it's like, no one can best me. They're kind of like having a non-wrestling match.
Vying for supremacy.
Kind of like lean down and look at them and watch. What is
One of
this?
the ones next to you just goes, "Hey,
Hello.
leader."
Sure.
And then he kind of like elbows the one next and leader, and and then they start leader, and they all kind of like you hear that like little ripple go around.
Chant.
And Kalen kind of hears it for huh? And he's distracted, and his arm starts to whoa, whoa! And he just all the patterns on his body light up. The one that he's fighting goes oh! Smashes his arm down. And the other guy, oh, getting up. Goes, oh,
It was a good effort.
yes, I was surprised you were watching. Pops up his chest a little.
Are they strong enough to carry many leaves?
I think that all here have been tested. We've devised a ranking based on physical strength for fun, and also for
I like
purpose.
this. This is good. Well, if they are ready, we should go.
Yeah, he just does like a. How many people do you want to come with you?
I mean, how many are around here that have been tested?
20.
20, yeah. All of us. I stand up and I'll just start like walking in a direction.
They all follow you. And basically you have 20, and like I think fairly quiet. Just kind of like there's a lot of like body language talking, like little shoulder jostles and smiles. And I think that this is where people, and correct me if I'm wrong, would be more stoic people. Not too many like big displays or big outbursts. They kind of try to ride that line a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. And I think that because there's like that connection between all of us, it's just like everyone kind of has like a general understanding of what everyone's feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll actually, I said in a random direction, but I'll actually go to where we fought the basilisk or the cockatrice.
The forest.
Yeah, so I know that there's trees and foliage there, so we can start our search there.
All right, perfect. You start to head in the forest. And so I think this is a good time to, as you head on over that way, we jump back to Quinn. Quinn, you're with your party. You had gone to the edge of the forest, and you've mapped a few locations, possible wells and things like that. But now that you're at the forested area, would you have continued into the forest to continue scouting, or is there something else you would have liked to do?
No, I think I'm gonna check for the outside forest. I think it would be a good place to start making shelters. So if we do need to run away from monsters into an open section, we can. But I think that the trees, like I'm gonna start looking like, oh, what trees could kind of like be good to use to make shelters out of, you know. I'm mapping out like a town area for us by the edge.
Absolutely. So you basically are telling me that you stay near the fringes, but you want to be
Mhm.
categorizing, cataloging kind of what's here and what's
Mhm.
available.
That's it.
Perfect. So I'm going to require
Mm.
2 intellect points, and
Okay.
basically you are going to be directing your party members, which is not a large party right now. There's only basically your 5 members total, one of each of
Mhm.
the and you. Um, and so as you're cataloging and doing stuff, they're coming back to you, and it's like they'll present you a herb, or they'll present you a piece of bark or a leaf, and it's like they're just grabbing stuff from this vicinity and bringing it over to you.
Okay. I'll I'll I guess I'll use the D-pad to figure out what they are. If they like, for example, the herbs, like, are they useful for us or is it poisonous? The bark maybe I'm not sure what purpose, but like for fire, it could be good for fire. So I'm like, great job, dude. Whoever brought the bark.
He's like,
Um
yes. It brings you more different barks. Perfect. So roll me an intellect roll. This is going to
mhm.
be a difficulty 3
Okay, so
to catalog.
9.
Yeah, target number 9.
And it's intellect, so I don't have an edge for it. Uh, let's pray. Let's hope. Let's roll. Let the dice. Yes, it's a 13, baby.
Beautiful. So on a 13, you were able to, I think, get a sense that, and get through these, I think, quickly and efficiently in a
Mm.
way that allows you to categorize a few important things. One is
Mm-hmm.
one of the herbs that they bring you, and it seems like fairly abundant, is a
Mm-hmm.
healing herb.
Oh,
And
perfect.
basically, all you got to do is mush it up and basically mix it with like a little bit of like water or something like that to make a paste, and then you can apply it as a salve. So it's very, very easy. Another one
Awesome.
is a basically it's a mana herb. So this is the type of thing that it doesn't just heal like from your pools. It'll
Mm.
allow you to sorry, hold on. Need to get
Magical stamina.
magical stat. And I think in the way that it would work in this, because I was like, health potions and mana potions, but because
Mm.
it's Cypher, the healing salve herb, basically the health herb, will heal only might and speed.
Okay.
To heal intellect, you'll have to use this mana herb. Does that make
Perfect.
sense with everybody? And so if you combine them together, basically this is Resident Evil. You can use the green and red herb to make a total healing salve.
Let's go. Okay.
Uh,
Perfect.
And then I think the interesting thing about the barks is just that there's different types of wood that are available.
Mm-hmm.
So different types of trees here. Um, and I don't
Yeah,
think,
some it's for sure for constructing like something sturdy out of it for shelters, but for now.
yes. And I think
Mm.
as well, because you spent the points of intellect to direct them kind of like efficiently to get stuff for you, I think you
Mm-hmm.
also realize in the same way that Will did that things are a little bit more like they have an elevated kind of like magic signature when you're scanning them, compared to when you were back at the camp and you were first like scanning stuff around you.
Okay.
So Mentor's just there and kind of like, oh, look at this, and he like brings up like 2 little charts, and each like the chart near the camp is like low, and then the chart over here is high.
Mm-hmm. Mentor, do you think that this energy is gonna be affecting us negatively if we sleep here?
I think that this is probably not going to affect um, the regular people, but it looks like you and the other the progenitors.
Mhm.
Sorry, this is an aside out of character for a second. Have
Mm.
we actually called you guys progenitors in this campaign?
I think you
No.
have.
Potentially Mario did.
I mean, we've used the word, but I don't know if necessarily like in character.
No, that's
The
it.
only person that would have been Mario, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think Mario may have said it, and may have meant it in a certain way. So I think mentor in this instance is just like, oh, you and the other experiments or X experiments are
Mhm.
probably more sensitive to it.
Okay.
So I don't think it's
Well,
bad.
at least
It's like
it's gonna
it's
be
like
temporary, and then we'll be able to make actual shelters. So it's not too bad for a few nights. Okay.
yeah. And he gets like a look in his eye, and he's like, or we could just grind everything up and squeeze all the magic out of it.
Well, if you figure out how we can do that, sure. But at the moment, I think survival is more important.
Okay.
Pat.
He's like, oh. I'll put those thoughts to the side. Yeah, we should definitely help people survive.
Yeah, don't forget. I'm pretty sure there's more that's gonna be unlocked when we build the home, right?
Right.
Okay.
Because the home would not just be for you.
Mm-hmm. It would be for all the people we, I guess, are in charge of now.
Hmm.
They all deserve a home. Even you. We're gonna make you a shelter too.
He like sits down, and there's like a little folding chair that appears digitally, and he like takes out a little bit of like a little umbrella. He goes, that would be nice. Maybe I could have my own people.
I mean, I don't mind sharing my people with you. We can be partners.
But if everyone had a partner,
Hmm. Okay, evolve that idea with me. What are you thinking of?
like, what if the same way you have me and I have you,
Mm-hmm.
your people had that they had like a helper, and that
That
it kept them company.
would be pretty great. But would it be each other finding partners, or would they show up out of nowhere like you kind of are?
That is a good question. It sits kind of back and then sits forward and goes, "Oh, there's Tomas."
Oh, hi Tomas. How are your how's your
Hello.
group doing?
Well, we are searching for leaves.
Oh, leaves. Oh, I can help with that. Have we found any big leaves in this area that I can
I
take
think
note?
you could help with that. And then Tomas like looks down, and then there's like a grid of items at Quinn's feet. It's like everything has like it's equally distant from each other.
Mm.
What is this?
Oh, well, this is actually used for healing, and this is also for healing, but something else. And then if you combine them, you can make the best healing thing ever. So if you get hurt, look for these plants. And then there's this bark. So there's like plenty of type of woods that we have around here. And then we can also use the bark to make fire. We're gonna need fire. So, and then I guess I point at the big leaf on the side, and those are perfect leaves for our shelters.
I go over to it. I pick it up.
And just look for those type of leaves.
Yes. We need more of this.
And I'll show it to my group.
We find these.
Like a lot of nods, and then like getting down like closer to all fours and almost like galloping into the tree.
Yes. And I put it down. Bring them back here.
Perfect.
Within a minute, you hear yelling. All of a sudden, there's
And then I just turned to Quinn. I must go. And then I just gallop into the trees with them.
Incredible. I'm not going to do any combat or anything like that. Basically, there are other cockatrices in this.
Okay.
But they are not the only things in here.
Mm.
So the cockatrices are the monster version of a more docile, literally like think like a dodo bird kind of deal. So there's like little ones that kind of like inhabit the area, and then there's like these big ones that are like area bosses.
More food.
So what do you want to do about this is my question. Is like you can encounter the little ones and they kind of like run away a little bit, but then there's like a big cockatrice that's just go like "Gah!" like a Monster Hunter style. There's like the big roar that hits you. And then,
Yeah, I mean, if some of the group starts like to scatter or like to, I don't know, go off to fight it on their own or something, I'll kind of call out and try to like herd them all together, knowing that like, you know, when I was escaping the facility and stuff, like sticking together always like worked a little better. So kind of like stay close, fight it together if we have to, or maybe try and like, I don't know, scare it away or something. I can like call back to certain like to the drill dog sort of like fight response that it had at one point, and maybe like flash the red face on the forehead and influence the other members of the group. And
ooh, baby, you said the right words.
Stronger together.
Together. You flash the red, and you get that and I think it's like the cockatrice is there, and you're like facing it, and then you see like red eyes in the dark all around it from the trees, and all your boys and girls come out, just beat up the cockatrice. Kaylin's there, and Kaylin's like groups of 10. There's only 20 of you, so groups of 5.
People.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
4 groups, and basically you're able to collect enough leaves at the beginning of this area into the forest without going too much further in. You can tell immediately it is much darker in there, and there are larger sounds in there.
Okay.
It's like I think Kaylin would like probably come back and report to you, and he's like, "There's something big moving in the depths of the trees. There is also large trees, huge. There's something you cannot see it from outside the forest."
How strange. We will come when we have light. For now, we gather up the leaves that we have and the food. Yes? Good.
All right. Gather everyone up. Have one of the group of 5 carry the cockatrice. And then the rest of us will bring back as many leaves as possible.
Yep, absolutely. And so, I mean, it's so many leaves. What is possible, I think, is like you probably stack them and then carry kind of like a stack of almost like sheets of paper, right?
Mhm.
It's probably how you could carry the most, I guess. Unless you can come up with a better way.
I'm just picturing like of the groups, there's like the biggest one on the bottom, and then there's like a guy on his shoulders, but he's kind of like leaning forward, and then they stack the leaves on his back, and then there's like another one on top of him to like flatten all the leaves. And they're just kind of like hugging each other, and they're like,
Yes.
Absolutely. Kayla's just like so dumb. He's squeezing together in his arms. Yeah, and you guys all start making your way back. It's definitely not enough leaves to cover 2,000 people.
Yeah.
So is this something that you want to be doing a few times? Like, is this something you want to be doing like going back and forth and getting
Yeah, and I think after the first like attempt of bringing back all the leaves we gathered, we realized, okay, well, we can just kind of like pile them up here where like Quinn is, and then we can just like, I don't know, maybe have one group just like bring them and come back and pick them up and go back and be a little bit more efficient.
Yes, absolutely. So
I also think we might need vines too, because we need a way to attach the leaves in such a way to the trees. Maybe vines or.
I did see that Otto was spreading his webs.
I didn't know Otto could do that. Okay, perfect. That will come in handy. Okay, so we got that, we got this. And then we can use the trees in this area, and I pointed the trees. So we're not too deep in there where there might be more monsters. And if ever, maybe we can make some sort of alarm system also with the webs. Some way to make a noise if something comes in here. Maybe not tonight, but in the future.
I'll let you think of that.
A girl comes up to you, Quinn. She goes, "Hey, should we maybe kind of like do like a chain, like basically get more people from camp to bring these leaves back, or should we try and move the camp over here to where the trees are, where there's more shelter?"
I thought of maybe moving the camp here, but I don't know if the rest of my partners agree. Uh, well, what do you think? Is Willem here? I look around.
Wilton's not here yet. I
Ah,
think like this gathering is starting, and I think Tomas is about to set in on the gathering, the
mhm,
gathering part, and Wilm is coming back from scouting. So I
okay.
think at this moment, if you want to try and communicate a decision to them, you can kind of like send people out to go pass the message along.
Okay, yeah. Let's move our camp here. It's close enough to the stream too, which is gonna be pretty helpful. And I think being by the trees is gonna be a bit better. Depending, like, let's say it rains, we're gonna have a bit more protection from it. And and I just think overall it's pretty good. Besides the magic is around here, but you don't need to worry about that. Yeah, just tell Otto when he's done with the spider webs to come over here and all the people.
She goes, "Yeah, okay, that sounds good." And she
And
starts.
thank you. What's your name before you go? You took
My
great
name's
initiative.
my name is Claudia.
Thank you, Claudia.
Thanks. She kind of like a little bit timid, and then she kind of runs off. You can see that she has like slightly like pinkish greenish skin. So maybe
Hmm.
people. Sorry, are all your people the same bluish purple?
No, they can be any color if you feel like it.
They're rainbow people. Do they have like
They're rainbow people.
they're pigment. Beautiful. So yeah, so she's like a little pinkish greenish color, and so she kind of like runs off. And you can kind of tell, unlike the other three clans
Hmm.
basically that are forming around the X experiments, your people seem to have less genetic expressions of magic, which means that they don't
Mhm.
have claws or wings or anything that basically will help them right now, unfortunately.
That's okay. I believe in my people, regardless. We can
Uh,
upgrade them later.
so yeah, I believe in my people. You like see her like sprinting at the distance, like trip. Oh, keep running. Yeah. So eventually, this girl comes up to you, Will, back at camp. You see like another bird roasting on the fire now. The first one kind of like taken apart. You see that one of one of Otto's people is like holding the drill dog back a little bit and has basically made a pile of like what is left of the carcass, and is like, "No, no, no, we're gonna make soup with this. You can't have the rest of the bones. Down, boy, down. We're gonna have like." Huh, huh, huh. And Claudia comes up to you, Will, and she's like, "Hey, sorry,
Yes.
you're a little intimidating. Um,
I didn't. Didn't realize I was intimidating. All
you're
right.
like one of the big four, you know.
How may I help?
Well, oh right, Quinn would like it if we moved everyone over to the forest.
All right. Have we cleared it of any cockatrices? Will we be attacked in the forest at night? If
No, There's one less.
One less. Okay.
I believe they're nocturnal. Wait,
That's
the
bad because then
opposite.
they're
The
awake during
opposite.
at night and they can attack us. When
Damn
everyone's
it.
sleeping.
You diurnal?
Yes, that one.
Well, it would offer cover from the rain. Should it rain? How much has Otto's people done with the spider webs in this canyon area?
Mainly, it's just like one little bit, and they've done it in such a way where there's like strands that go across, and basically there's like a slightly shaded portion here. So people who are in the sun can kind of go over there. Like maybe the canyon, the valley walls, like one side is a little bit more shaded, so there wasn't enough room for everybody, and so now there's like a little bit of extra room here.
Okay, but it's gonna be something that's gonna take a while to be able to get like some sort of like roof over
Yeah,
it.
I think you notice that they're not doing it anymore. Like they've stopped with this small section. The other thing I think you notice is that now, as we're getting into the afternoon, there's like probably like a more bugs kind of thing, like happening like as we get closer to nighttime. And you see the kind of like spider people are just like, oh yes. They're like basically like also like they're nocturnal people, and as the sun is going away, they're a little bit more active and a little bit more like, oh yeah, like we can catch some bugs and stuff.
Okay. Well, I guess it should be fine as long as we keep a guard at all times at the border of the forest. Is there enough room between the trees for 2,000 people, roughly?
Claudia's like, I will be honest, sir, I don't have the answers to any of these questions.
That's all right. I'll go talk to Quinn and Tomas. Where were they?
They are by the forest now.
I appreciate you coming to find me. Thank you.
I will lead you back. I'm sure that Otto, that's his name, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure that he'll be able to manage things here.
I'll look to the drill dog and we'll get you more food. Just don't take food from others.
The dog just like looks at you and just like, then sits and then lies down.
Good. Not sure it's gender. Good. And I
Duck.
head towards. I don't know if it's a dog at that point. Honestly, it's got a head that opens and everything.
It's gnarly, yeah, for sure. This thing it's still a bit of an abomination. As you look at what is a kind of a mimicry of a dog, and Claudia will lead you back towards the tree line. And I think that's a good spot now, right before we regroup. We'll take a little bit of a break, and we'll come back in a few minutes.
Sounds good.
Be back soon.